Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Path of Exile. We are playing in the Bestiary League as a solo self-found Spectral Shield Throw Juggernaut. And today we're gonna run our very first map. But one thing, keep in mind, we just defeated Kitava. So in between episodes, I made sure that my resistances were all maxed out again. Well, chaos is not really a resist, right? So in order to do that, I swapped around some rings. I have a habit of just keeping rings with a decent amount of resistances and some stats, like for example intelligence on this one, of keeping them in my stash for if I need them at some later point. And defeating Kitava in Act 5 and in Act 10 definitely are good points to go through your collection of rings and see if you can fix your resistances that way. So this one, 13 to all resist, a bit of fire and lightning res, and 19 intelligence. This one over here, built-in 20 cold res, fire resistance 16% and 41 cold res. Turns out cold res was actually one of the lower resistances, now it is one of my higher ones. For both of these I actually mastercrafted life on it, cost me quite some chaos, but no, I lost some life, this way I fixed it, so around 3700 life again. And now the intelligence on both rings is actually important because it allows me to actually equip this advancing fortress over here. I did have a little bit of a dexterity deficiency, but after looking around on the skill tree for a bit, I noticed that I had spent one whole point here into this dex node, probably aiming to grab the jewel socket next time. But I forgot about it and instead I actually went up here for devotion. So what I did, I unspec'd this one dex and I put it into 30 dex over here, eliminating all of my dexterity problems. So right now I can actually equip all the things that I have. Now I've got 130 dex, 88 int, it's just enough for the shield, which is good for me. And now a bunch of strength to do a damage with, and of course to get a good accuracy. So out here with just our golem up, we have just about 9000 listed DPS. I actually loaded the build in its current state into Path of Building. And then the usual profile of now having the enemy bleeding and maimed, since those are things that have a very high likelihood of occurring. Me being leeching, because that's also something that is most of the time happening. And just ignoring all other things, and of course it being a boss that I'm up against. The damage is somewhere between 12 and 17,000 DPS just for the hits, and then the bleeding doubles that. So it's I think that the damage is alright, and that's gonna be it's gonna be good. And if we in the most ideal situation where we actually get all the frenzy charges, where we have a rallying cry up, where we have the totem up, and then all the other things, damage actually goes up much further, and it's somewhere between 25 and 36,000. And there's a large variety there, because there's just a lot of factors that can and cannot kick in. Blood rate, we need to get hit in order for it to trigger, so it's not a reliable thing. So I tend to focus more on the baseline. And that's now the, what did I say, 17,000 DPS. So about half of that is what you can reliably get. 17,000 is the average, and you can more or less just double it if all bonuses actually align. And that includes things like silver flask, things like that. And yes, I did put the silver flask in to replace the amethyst flask, since I figured if you just get a bunch of extra regen from this instead of some chaos damage mitigation, that's probably more generally useful. This one also gives us shock immunity for its duration and increases damage by 40%, so that is kind of nice. And of course, I rolled the prefix. I was very lucky getting the 40% increased duration with just 1 or 2 rerolls, and then I beastcrafted the shock removal on top. One of the perfect things of beastcrafting is just fixing your flasks without needing 2 bazillion orbs of alteration to do it. So with all of that out of the way, we're ready for maps. So let's get going. We're gonna run the beach map with Zana's prefix and of drought suffix. So less flask charges, but I don't really mind, since I don't really tend to rely heavily on them anyway. So let's do this. Hello, Zana.
Still sane.
Still sane. Whoa. Define sane. Lots of enemies. Fun times. And tooltip now goes up to 13,000. And we have a yellow thing and we have a next tier. So simple steel nets are going to be the name of the game for the foreseeable future. Also, ooh, new enemy types. I gotta catch all the beasties. Good thing is I get a rare version of the beastie first here. So, oh, yes. I have you.
Look upon this capture with pride, Exile.
Cool.
You hunt well.
Okay, so I've also switched to the map loot filter, so I should be showing a little less items than I did while mapping. Also now everything that's just not high end is just ignored, so it's a little more efficient while doing maps. Yeah, what I talked about last episode, the ideal being a level item level 73 colossal tower shield. I've actually added a custom rule, no, just a offline custom rule, so that if one drops, it's gonna drop with a nice big outline and a lot of fancy sounds, so I should not be able to miss it. Oh, the item level 73 colossal tower shield, if it drops, I want it. Oh, there's more beasties behind me. Did I skip some? I skipped some. Sorry. Don't want any of the beasties to feel left out. Okay, we're level 70 in a level 68 area, so perfectly on level there. Which is nice. Means XP acquisition is going to be nice and efficient. That's it's a chromatic, so I'll just pick it up. Another map, graveyard, dungeon. So far, so profitable. Hey, there was a beastie and it was yellow. Can I find it before I kill it? Yes, you. Here, have a net.
Orb of fusing.
Yes, I has it. Hey.
You have been captured.
I was too late for capturing that one. That's too bad. Also, gain the level. Okay, Merville's chosen. Probably just have to be a little patient and just grab a rare version rather than settling for a blue. Okay. Next up, another endurance charge. No, just to max out my number. No, maximize my physical damage mitigation. Especially in a build like this. No, yeah, you get one, you get all. Well, often enough to not really have to care about what the maximum is and if it's feasible of obtaining it, because I'm gonna obtain it. Okay. Okay, you know what? I just wanna grab it. Can't help myself. Gotta catch them all, right? And okay, there's plenty more enemies remaining. I think I'll just have to do a pocket emptying run here. And yeah, can't pick up the orb. So let's do that. It's not my hideout, so I'll just sell stuff to Zana, make some space, not all the space. Anything in here that's potentially an upgrade? What's the level requirement? 52, that's just not good enough. Gladiator helmet, it's not the top end, but it's definitely not the top end. Okay, you know what? We'll just settle for this. Make a little bit of space. Okay, and then let's go back to the map. And then first complete the map and then do the boss, as I usually do. It just feels silly otherwise. Okay, there are some interesting lag spikes there. It didn't do that before. Right, and lag spikes are back to normal. I mean, this is softcore, so it's not no, it's not the end of the world if I die due to a lag spike. No, like it would be on hardcore, but it's still, no. It's highly inconvenient. Not to mention, of course, it's still a bit of a point of pride not having died yet. Okay, still 50 plus monsters remaining. Did I skip so many, or is there just in the inlands here a bunch of stuff I missed? Ooh, item box. Ah, silver coin, that's a good one. I actually need to top up my coins. That nearby corpses, so let's just take a small step to the side here. And there we go. 16 monsters remaining. Oh, okay, that is much better. Now that's just 1 or 2 packs that I forgot. Okay, Glaze. Do your worst. I'll do as well. Just keep my flasks up here. I mean, it's the end of the map, so you can. And that is that. First map done. And that in only 12 minutes. 15 monsters remaining. They are the lucky ones. And that should be enough to convince Zana to just unlock this thing for me. And I think we picked up both a desert and an arid map, did I? I picked up the arid lake, not the desert one. Okay. Okay, so what we can do now is go back to the hideout and just run another map. I think I'm just gonna try and just make these videos about the same length. So if I finish early with a map, I'll just do 2 maps in a single video. Just to not make them too short. So we have a lookout, a dungeon, graveyard dungeon, and an arid lake. And then more stuff to solve. Juggernaut is actually the top end armor. So let's have a look. Bit of int, bit of armor. Quite a bit of armor actually, compared to what we have now. Bit of lightning resistance. There's no movement speed on there. There's no accuracy on there. No, I'll just keep it and potentially do some crafting on it or something. We'll just see about it. For now, I'll just tuck it away in its own little corner. Then next map. So tier 1, we did the beach. So yeah, it's also nice. You actually see that you have completed the Atlas bonus. So dungeon, graveyard, or lookout. Let's do the lookout. It's relatively new, relatively easy. Players have point blank, so I do more damage to things that are close to me, actually affect me, but I don't mind too much. And monsters have more life, so things further away will be more tanky, things closer by, they're gonna be out of luck. So I still have a map device. I mean, if you've played in any previous leagues, you actually just have all your old map devices, so you can just put them down, and then we're just gonna go with the default. And it is blue, so it will unlock. There we go. It says explore shaper influence maps, but I don't think they are there yet. No, it takes a while for them to show up. Hey, hello, bull demons. I already have some of you, so I can just kill you rather than capture you. Simple steel net. That's the one I use. Okay, cool. I wonder if I should actually change the color highlighting for the nets to be, for the mapping tier nets to be slightly different, and maybe have a white, yellow, red slant to them. I'll just have a bit of a look into that, so you can see how relevant they are or how rare they are at a bit of a glance, since those names, they are kind of meaningless and there's way too many tiers. So Pinnacle Tower Shield is, I think it's actually not better than what I have. It's actually worse. But it's worse than the top end. It's not actually... no, I'm just gonna ignore it. It's no Colossal Tower Shield or bust. Pinnacle has more life. Maybe even a better block chance. I'm not entirely sure why it's the pinnacle of all tower shields. But in terms of armor, it's not as good as a Colossal one. Oh, look, another map. Okay, is this the way forward? It might be. In that case, there's nothing here. Let's just double check the... let's see. Is this a dead end? No, this seems to go on. So actually, let's backtrack a little bit. And clear out the other side of the main room. That's the one downside of the lookout map, in my opinion. It's mostly linear, but the branching is, or the side rooms are not always great to discover, because you got very large rooms and some of the corners, you never know which side you should go to continue, or which side is just the side area. So there's no a lot of little backtracking like these. On the other hand, the boss is very easy. So, I know it is relatively linear, so it's an easy map to run. Of course, as long as enemies just keep bunching up in my face, we have an advantage due to the point blank we have now. I think if you shoot more than roughly where my totem is, I think this is the range where you actually do more damage and afterwards you actually do less damage. So point blank really is point blank. But no. If you consider that, and no, this is a very tanky build, it's not some squishy archer, so it's no big deal. And look at that, a rare bug. Yay, I got a rare bug. Marvelous.
This one is captured. I will take it.
Okay, there is, I saw a yellow beastie over there, but just double checking that it is in the way forward rather than the side thing. Now a graveyard map. Okay, cool. Ooh, Bolivian? No, some skitter thing. Okay, let's just throw that trap. And there we go. One beastie captured.
The first ones look upon this capture with pride, Exile. You hunt well.
So the mapping tier nets cost 1, 2 or 3 orbs of alchemy. So now I understand why people were complaining so much about needing more orbs of alchemy. Because normally all you need them for is upgrading yellow and red maps to become rare. But if you also need them for your beasties, then well, it puts a bit of a strain on that currency. Okay, and once again, relatively filled up on items. But now all we have to do is just walk a little bit to the sides here. Probably still should invite Zana to the hideout. And Amulet might as well have a look. Bit of accuracy, bit of other rubbish mods. Bit of physical, life leech. There's one prefix open. It's not that great. So we'll just get rid of it. Oh yeah, soul coins. So get rid of some of these. So let's actually grab some prophecies.
Me tell your future.
Seek prophecy.
The earth shifts beneath the feet of many.
Seek prophecy. Seek prophecy. Seek prophecy. Okay, then we just dismiss the one, and then we actually have a look what we got. Trembling Earth, an area with many devourers. Twins, powerful monsters are duplicated. Specters in the Fell Shrine Ruin, so that is one of those lousy backtracking things. Regal Death, killer, king or queen, and you get a Regal Orb. That's neat. Powerful Brittle Poacher, who will drop a unique item when slain. A Master's Mission and receive tripled reputation, that is always nice. And find maps near the center of the Chamber of Sins. Actually, that one is really... I was gonna say really easy, but if you load up a new instance, and of course some of the other ones might trigger, yes, this is one of those things why prophecies are not the greatest in the world. But no, you, on average, especially if you get some of the rogue exile prophecies, oh, they're just efficient. No, you actually get quite some items and currency from them, so not doing prophecies means you're losing out. On the other hand, now doing prophecies means occasionally having to backtrack or seal those things. Okay. And all we get here is white and blue mobs, no rares. I suspect doing maps that have a high number of beasties naturally with Nemesis mods is probably going to be very nice for capturing mobs. Let's see, mirrored items, detonated corpses, stream of monsters, additional magic items. Sure, so put down a totem, step aside a little bit, and then we'll just shoot at things from a safe distance. And it's a stream, so they keep trickling out, but a totem usually helps quite a bit with that, and indeed, it does. Duplicates, of course, means we can hand in stuff for some chance orbs, which is nice. And 28% on the ring. Yeah, I prefer the double rings. And we are actually walking up to the arena, and only 40 monsters remain. Is there some on the side things? Well, actually the boss room has quite some packs in them, if I remember correctly. So it might be that I actually did quite a clear already. Okay, and there we have indeed, yeah, see, blue, blue, yellow and orange, and then of course the boss comes swooping in as well. Oh, we haven't even woken him up. Oh, that is actually nice. No, just pulling in separate packs, dealing with them, and then moving on. Totem. Shout, shoot, volatile, get out of range. Next, and there we have the Great Plague, who is of course a copy of Plague Wing. Let's go all out with some buffs. And no, didn't even throw that one. And that is another map. Completed it. Yay, and we got the Arid Lake to become shaper tainted, which is nice since we picked it up previously.
Yes, so, what is it?
Let's get rid of all the rubbish we picked up here. Ooh, nice number of chance orbs. Are they any good? Not really. Anything else? Foul Greaves, maybe, potentially. Rubbish. Okay, we'll just sell all the things and get some decent currency out of it. So make some space, put this one in, and then there's that. So yeah, this is going to be a nice point to call it the end of an episode. So did 2 tier 1 maps. I think that's pretty good for one episode. So I think next episode I'm actually just going to skip the tier 1s and I'm just going to dive straight onto the Arid Lake map. Because of course, Shaper Touched maps are cool to run. So thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.